As of right now, BSG has confirmed that the next wipe will be in August. What day exactly, nobody knows, but I'm pretty sure it's Thursday. If you know, you know. What that means is everybody's account is going to be reset and we will all be Timmys again.
What the fuck am I doing here?
Now, if I were to ask you what's the most annoying part of a fresh wipe, what would your answer be? For myself and probably many others, I would have to say that being broke and having limited roubles is probably my least favorite part of a fresh wipe, and that's why you see me make so many videos on how to make money in this game. But today we're not going to be talking about the hideout for once. I'm actually going to be showing you guys a couple of different ways that you can set yourself up early on in the wipe so you never have to worry about roubles again. So with all of that out of the way, let's not waste any more time and jump right into the video. So before we get into the topic of today's video, I just want to put out a disclaimer that everything I'm about to show you kind of rides on how the found and raid system works currently. As of right now, you can sell literally anything on the flea market, whether it's found and raid or not, as long as it's not flea banned. A few examples of items that are flea banned are things like raid bags, high tier armor and plates, and certain guns like the 7.62 MDR. Now, as far as I know, BSG hasn't said anything about changing the found and raid system for next wipe, but if they have, please let me know down in the comments, because if they have and I already uploaded this video, then this is kind of a waste of time, isn't it? Basically, what I'm trying to say is if the found and raid system stays exactly the way it is now, you will be able to use the information in this video to make a ton of roubles. One thing I need you guys to understand is that this is not a get rich quick kind of thing. Look at it as more of an investment into the future of your wipe. Now, I know that sounds kind of ridiculous because let's be honest, this is just a video game, but if you want to play this game and never worry about running out of roubles, then this is the video for you. So with that being said, I'm going to be showing you 4 different items that you can stock up on early wipe and sell them later on for a massive profit. And the first thing we're going to be talking about is sugar. Now, those of you who have been following me for a while know that I absolutely love sugar. It's been a huge money maker for me in past wipes, but if everything works out in this next wipe, it's going to be 2 to 3, maybe 4 times more profitable than it has been before. I made a whole video on sugar a couple of days before last wipe, basically explaining how you should hoard it and do a massive flea market sale once it hits around 70k. I had tons of people in my Twitch chat telling me almost daily how many sugars they were holding on to, and we were all watching the price increase every single day, waiting for the right time to sell. Now, I personally crafted and found around 200 sugars in the time frame before I sold it all, and I want to say I sold them for around 67k. Now, that's roughly around 13.5 million rubles about a month into wipe. The crazy part is that sugar didn't stop at 70k. I saw it get all the way up to 120k at its peak, and I would have made around 24 mil if I had waited. So you might be asking yourself, what does all of this mean and what's the point in hoarding all that sugar? Well, the difference between this wipe and the wipe that's coming up very soon is the found and raid system like I mentioned earlier. See, last wipe, I had to craft or find all those sugars in order to make that money. This wipe, however, you can literally just buy them on the flea as soon as you hit level 15 for around 10 to 15k a piece. Sugar is one of those items that are essentially useless at the beginning of a wipe, so it is dirt cheap on the flea market. As time goes on, people start upgrading their hideout and eventually will want to start crafting moonshine. Each moonshine craft requires 2 sugar, and that is why you see sugar slowly start to become more and more expensive throughout the wipe. So to sum all of this up, you're going to want to hoard as much sugar as you possibly can early on in the wipe, whether you find it, craft it, or buy it on the flea. If everything works out, you could potentially make upwards of 50 million rubles a month or so into wipe by doing this, and you will literally never be broke again as long as you're not stupid with your money. I'm definitely guilty of that. Now, the last 3 items that I'm going to show you basically follow the same principles that sugar does. They all are dirt cheap at the start of the wipe, and they all progressively get more and more expensive as time goes on. And that's going to be GPUs, water filters, and Alyonka chocolate bars. All 3 of these items had the potential to be huge money makers later on in the wipe if you stock up on them early. And instead of sitting here yapping about the same things I just told you about sugar, just know that everything I said about sugar applies to these items as well. Buy low, wait for the prices to spike and sell high. So let's go through a mock-up here and come up with a somewhat realistic scenario of all of this playing out. This wipe I was able to craft and find around 200 sugar, so I'm just going to assume that with this new method I should be able to easily double that number up to 400. Let's say I sell them all at around 70k, which is a number that sugar will likely reach, maybe more, but we'll just say 70k for this example. I will make around 28 million rubles when I sell them all. Now I'm not going to sit here and come up with like actual profit numbers because this is just an example for you guys to get an idea of how much money you could potentially make doing this. Now for the GPUs early on in wipe, I usually see them hover between 150 to 300k rubles, which can be pretty pricey. However, their peak is usually somewhere around 7 to 800k, maybe even more. So the potential to double up on your money is pretty high. For this example, let's just say I'm able to buy 32 of them and I sell them all at 750k. That's around 24 million rubles just on GPUs. Hopefully by now you guys can see kind of where this is going, so we'll run through the last two items really quick. Water filters, I usually see them for less than 20k early wipe, and at their peak I can see them selling for around 100k depending on how patient you are. Let's just say I'm able to buy up 120 water filters and sell them for around 95k. That puts us at around 11.5 million rubles. And finally, last but not least, the Alyonka chocolate bars. Dirt cheap early wipe, usually around 10 to 15k, sometimes even less. And later on in wipe, they sell for around 40 to 50k. Let's say I'm able to buy up, find, craft, whatever, and hoard around 250 of these bad boys and sell them for 45k a piece. That puts us at around 11.2 million rubles. So with all of that being said, the total amount of rubles that we would make in this scenario, which I feel like is somewhat realistic, is around 74 to 75 million rubles. Keep in mind, we're talking about buying early wipe, holding on to it for like a month, month and a half, maybe 2 months, and then selling them when they're high. Again, I'll reiterate, you're basically investing into your future in the wipe. Now, I can already see the comments of people saying, oh, just play the game normally. It's so easy to make money. You don't need to do any of this. And you are 100% correct. If you're a decent player, making money is not hard at all. This is simply a strategy to set yourself up for success later on in the wipe. I utilize the hideout and hoarding sugar every single wipe, and it basically allows me to never run out of money, and I always run the best kits that I can get my hands on. What that means for me is a higher chance of survival in my raids and more potential to come out of a raid with tons of juicy loot. Right now I'm sitting around 280 mil, and there hasn't been a single time this wipe that I've had to worry about running out of rubles, simply because I started it all with the sugar method that I mentioned previously. And that's pretty much it. This is the strategy that I'm going to be running with at the start of next wipe, and I really hope they don't change the found and raid system, because if they do, this video is useless. So that's fun. But if I'm being completely honest, if they change the found and raid system to the not for resale system that's kind of been rumored around, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing either, but that's a topic for another video. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. If you guys have any suggestions for other items that you can use this strategy with, please be sure to drop it down in the comments so other people can know. I want to thank you guys for all of the support here recently. We're coming up on 10,000 subscribers, and I wanted to go ahead and announce that once we hit 10k, I'll be doing a face reveal over on Twitch for those of you who are curious about how ugly I am, and I'll be doing a 24-hour stream also on Twitch. So more details on when that will happen, obviously once we hit 10,000 subscribers. So if you're interested in that, be sure to hit the first link in the video description and drop me a follow over on Twitch. I would greatly appreciate it. Again, thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you in the next one.